Hey, gang, coming up on Finding Better podcast, Jeanne Omlor is joining me, and we're going to talk about breaking through yourself. Now, what does that mean? We've all heard the saying or something like it that if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. The question is, how do you get to that point? Jeanne shares her journey of literally going all over the world in search of what that thing was. And she tells us that journey so that we don't have to go through that whole thing. And so all of the different choices out there. How did she narrow everything down to that one thing that she decided to dedicate her life to? And she loves it. Talk about finding better. She's going to share her journey. You're going to learn so much from it. I'm glad you're with us. Please share this, especially for folks who are kind of lost right now. And of course, please subscribe. All right, here we go. Hello, 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 and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I am your host. And this is where we share real life experiences and wisdom with people who have been there and done that. Because, sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of others who've been there. And today we're going to talk about success. We're going to talk to Jeanne Omlor. And we're going to talk about business breakthrough. We're going to talk about personal breakthrough. We're going to talk about changes in your life to a better life. And it's going to be an amazing conversation. So Jeanne is a business breakthrough coach. How's that? I love that. And she's an executive leadership coach who has helped nearly 500 different businesses find ways to success. And her journey to success has not been a normal one. By the way, Jeanne, welcome to Finding Better. Sorry about that.
Thanks, John. All
We're
that
just going.
the rehearsing paid off. You got my name right.
Yeah, that's right. Jeanne Omlor, right?
Yep.
Very
Perfect.
cool. Very cool. All right. So her journey to success was not a straight line, and nobody's is. But she had to grow a lot of courage. She had to grow a lot of resilience to overcome what we see as limiting beliefs, lots of worry, lots of anxiety, especially with major challenges, being a solo parent and being very, very deep in debt. But through it all, she was able to rise above it, rise above the noise. We're going to talk about noise because we all have to deal with noise in her success journey while being present as a mother of two daughters. Um, Jeanne says that one of the most critical aspects of her success was learning how to tune out the mind clutter and the self-talk that was holding her back. That's such a big thing. We're going to talk a lot about that. And because it can be very challenging to ignore all that and to work towards accomplishing what you want to accomplish in your life. Another key element was letting go of limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs, we all live with them, and neutralizing that anxiety and fear that we all have. So instead of focusing on the barriers that kept her from being successful, she chose to look at the barriers as just beliefs and feelings, and that helped her move forward with the confidence that was necessary to create the amazing business she's created, and to inspire others. And we are going to learn. So this is all about finding better and learning from others. Jean, thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm listening to you, and I'm like, wow, that sounds like an amazing person. Who is that?
Isn't that wonderful? Yay. Yeah. I just
Wow.
told you. Yeah, you just learned what an amazing person you are. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this, everybody out there, I mean, they're dealing with stuff. I mean, I don't know of a single person who's not dealing with stuff. But a lot of the things that we're dealing with, especially these days, is how to be successful and how to
Mm,
break through roadblocks and barriers and
mm,
how to build that muscle. I
mm,
really want to talk about that, building that muscle of
mm,
of being able to get rid of the noise and the self-doubt and in a lot of cases self-hate, you
mm,
know?
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
and build that muscle of confidence. So let's start with your story. Let's start with your story, and then we can get into what you do and how you got to where you are, because that's amazing.
Okay, so I'm gonna just do a quick rundown of my story. So I was born in California, actually.
Okay,
Family
we
of
won't hold
10
that against
kids.
you.
Family of 10 kids. We moved to Australia when I was young.
10 kids.
10 kids moved to Australia.
Whoa.
So already
Okay.
in my mindset, well, nothing's really that hard. We just moved 12 people across the world. Okay. So there is a mindset with that, well, we just did that, and that's pretty hard. Um, and then I grew up in Australia. I first was a fashion designer. Then I thought, I worked for a couple of years and I thought, oh, this is so materialistic. I don't want to do this. So
Yeah.
I started traveling and I became an actress and I lived in Paris for 6 years, like Mimi and La Boheme in like an attic room with no heat and, all sorts of stuff. And then finally I thought, oh, this is no fun being poor in Paris. I'm moving to America and I'm going to actually give this acting a go. So I moved to California, so New York. And I start doing acting on the side while I accidentally become an executive recruiter on Wall Street, even though I knew nothing about finance. And they said, we just love
Nice.
your voice. And they trained me. I became very good at that by accident. It was something that I didn't even have to try to be good at. The only thing in my life that I did not have to try to be good at. It just was natural. So I was doing that, and then I started making films, and so it was that whole lifestyle. Then I got married, and that wasn't so successful, except I have two kids. And then
So that was successful.
zip through there. And then I found myself in New York with a 1 year old and a 4 year old with like no money. And I thought, whoa, what am I going to
Yike.
do now? So I started a kids blog and it became like really well known, but not a lot of money coming in. But it got me online. It got me writing every day, just about kids' fashion, crafts, travel, interesting stuff. So at
And
least it got
you were
me.
doing this on the side.
Well, it was all I was doing at first because I was just like,
Oh,
I thought I
okay.
could make some money
Okay.
with my blog, and
Okay.
well, it
Got it. Got it.
didn't bring in a lot of money in. But you know what we did get? We got a lot of merch. People were sending my kids designer clothes, and I thought, well, great. We can't eat the clothes, but my kids are the best dressed poor kids in New York. So, but I
Nice.
thought, okay, a little bit of advertising, but you know what? It served its purpose because it got me out there. I was invited to really great parties with designers, and it got me my confidence back. And also, I was writing every day, little blog every day, and it got me writing content. Okay, so that was good. But then I thought, this isn't going to cut it. What do I do? What do I do to stay at home, take care of my kids? And I went through the whole list and I thought the only thing I could possibly do is coaching because I'm actually naturally good at coaching. And so I started my coaching business in the days where you didn't have Zoom and it was just phone. So I could be in my pajamas when I was coaching and with
Yeah.
no makeup. And I just got certified at night while my kids were sleeping and just started hired a coach immediately, and I just started getting clients. I started as a life coach, but immediately in 5 minutes I became a business coach because I am just naturally talented at helping people make money.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple questions there. Okay. So first of all, how did you narrow into coaching? I mean,
Well,
did it just come to you
no,
or
no, I
yeah.
literally, I thought I need to write down every single possible thing. It was like Jeanne's AI. I had to write down every single possible option and look at it. I thought, okay, I can't do that. And the coaching, that's it. So it wasn't like, oh, I think I'll be a coach. But I'd been thinking about being a coach for a while, but I wasn't living a very embodied lifestyle. And I thought, well, I can't be, if I'm not living my best life or not taking courage to just, say, this is my life and I'm just going to take responsibility. I can't do that. If I'm unhappy in my marriage, how can I be a life coach? That's just wrong. So
Yeah.
I thought, oh, because I'd always coached people on various things, and I had been an acting coach. I used to coach people to pass their auditions to get into like the acting schools. And I was a director, so I was already coaching coaches, and I was really good at that. I'm coaching actors. I mean, I was really good at that, and I would coach people on their finances, even though I wasn't really good at finance, but I figured stuff out. And I used to coach other actors for free in the holding areas while we were waiting to go on set, how to not pay any interest with their credit cards. I'd show them how to move it to 0%. So I used to coach my brother on, health, even though I
Okay.
wasn't a health coach.
So
So I was just
so
known for coaching people on stuff, you
yeah.
know?
So what I want to make this relatable to everybody out there who's looking, who you found your passion, right?
Yes.
What did that list look like? So
Yeah.
if you were to tell folks who are listening that says, hey, listen,
Yeah.
here's kind of what I went through. I mean,
Right.
what did that list
Well, I
of
mean,
things look
yeah, you
like?
pay. you're taking me back 13 years, but I'll try to remember because I've been a coach for
Yeah.
13 years now. Let me see. It was like, okay, real estate agent. Nope, I can't do that because I got the kids with me all the time. How's that
Good.
going to work,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Get a job. Nope, that's not going to happen because how can I be at a job? And by the time I pay the nanny in New York, it's like probably as much as I'd be. And I hadn't had a job in a long time. So
Right.
that wasn't going to work. And also, I was an older mother and I wanted to be with my kids. So the thing is, I'm bringing my kids up. How do I do that without just going, getting some job? And that would have been no. So I thought, okay, what do I do? I have to be at home. Can't be a real estate agent. Nope. There was very little on that list that would have worked. Actually, start some kind of a business.
Okay.
And I thought, start some kind of a business, but producing something. I used to be a production manager in fashion. I know those numbers. That's like a lot of
Yeah.
work. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. My blog is never really going to support us. So that's not going to, so because the blog was the first idea. Oh, I'm just going to get a blog and get some
Right. Right.
advertising.
Right.
And I thought, okay, it was great because it got me to the next step of confidence. And people were like, I love your blog. And it just gave me a lot of confidence because I'd lost
Oh,
a
I
lot of
love
confidence.
that. I love
I'd
that.
lost a lot of confidence. People were like, I love your blog. Internationally, my blog in kids' blogs was known in 3 months by some miracle. They just loved the curation because I have an artistic background and I know about art and fashion and food and crafts. And they just said, we just love the way you've curated. I thought, great. So I started, when I became a coach, I started getting business coaching for children's labels because I said, you should, so in the end, there wasn't much on that list. Honestly, there was very little. I thought, okay, there's this, this, and this. Well, I can't do that. That's not going to be. None of it was sustainable. The only thing that I could see being sustainable was coaching.
And
That was it.
boom.
That
And
was
it
it.
and it and it resonated.
And
And,
because I was already coaching people on so many, I thought I love
yeah,
coaching
yeah.
people, and people were always asking me advice for all sorts of stuff in my life. Like just they would listen to me and they'd be like, "Thank you so much," and I was really good at coaching actors,
So
like really
folks,
good.
so
Yeah,
folks, listen up, right? First step is to write down your options.
yeah. What are
Write
the
down the
options?
things that you think you can do. And you know
Then you
what? They're gonna
scrape them
you're
off.
yeah. It's a process of elimination, right?
It
That's
really
that's
is. And when I,
wonderful. Yeah.
when I looked at that and I thought, this is my really the only thing I can do, or internet marketing. But I thought, oh my gosh, internet marketing, I'm not techie. And that's going to be a lot of outlay. I thought, no, coaching, there's not much outlay except I got to get certified, which wasn't that expensive. Then I got to pay for a coach. That's it. Very little. And also, it's something that I liked. I like helping people. And it's in my every single psychological test I've ever taken in my life. I said, you should be a coach. You should be a
Yeah.
coach or a teacher or blah, blah. I'm not a teacher, but it's like every single one is, no matter what it was like, you should be a coach or this. I'm like, okay, I guess it was it. So,
I
so
love it.
that was
I
it.
love it.
But you also want to look at the sustainability of it. A lot of people are I am so practical. I thought that's not going to work. So you got to look at the sustainability because a lot of people have this bright idea I'm going to start a restaurant. Don't start a restaurant, folks. Do not. It's so hard to make money with a restaurant.
Oh
Or
God. Yeah.
I'm going to, I thought of a lot of things. I thought maybe I could make some, because I'm really good at baking. I thought maybe I could make like these. And I started thinking maybe I could make these like little mini pies. And I thought, oh my gosh, just look at my future cooking nonstop and the ingredients. I thought,
The same
no,
thing over and over and
that's
over
not
again.
sustainable. I thought, what are the profits? Looked at the
Yeah.
profits. I thought it's not sustainable
Yep.
because you're
Yep.
producing something. So I did go through that option, but usually that's not sustainable. Making cookies. I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, cooking the whole time, and I got to deliver them. So that's not sustainable.
And you
All of
you
that,
know,
I went through all that.
and
Yeah.
as you're talking about this, folks, clue number two, make sure whatever you decide is sustainable, right?
Yes. Look
Not
at
not well
profits.
think, oh man, I'm gonna make a cookie. I mean, just make sure and
Very,
think
very,
beyond
very
the
little profit. Very
yeah,
little
think
profit
think
in that.
beyond the next 6 months
Yeah, yeah.
and think
So,
more on
and
the
also
line
the
of the next
work and
10
the
years.
producing
Yeah.
something is very exhausting, and producing
And
and
capital
selling.
intensive.
You are
Yep.
better, and I realized, and I already did know this, that the way to make money is through services, not product,
Yeah.
unless,
Yeah.
I don't know, unless you have some big Amazon thing. So, and I wasn't going to do, I thought I don't have the money to learn Amazon right now. And I thought of that, by the way. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need all that money to buy the product and the inventory I don't have that. So I did think of the Amazon thing and I didn't do that. Okay. Because I thought I don't know about that. that would have been an option. It's so hard to make money on Amazon because there's all these big brands
Oh
that
my
pump
gosh.
ads,
Yeah. Anymore. Yep.
And I knew I thought, uh-oh, I think there's something I don't know. So Amazon came up and making some sort of food or and I thought it's coaching. There's no overhead except getting a coach. That's it. We didn't even have to have Zoom then. It was all by phone, and I didn't even have to get made up or look good. So
Right.
that was it. That was it. I thought, this is it. I'm going to love this. So the coach was born, and I was a life coach for about 5 minutes before it immediately became business coaching because every single one of my clients had a business, and I was helping them make money. But
Okay.
because I'm really creative and
Okay.
I'm a critical thinker. So that was the
Hmm.
beginning. And I did offline coaching for 8 years. I used to do, events and speaking and networking and showing people how to network. And it was all that hard thing of being out there getting the client because I didn't know about online. That was 8 years. And then
Hmm.
stuff happened and I was doing okay, but then I couldn't focus because a bombshell happened in our lives and we had to move. And I thought, now I'm in deep debt and this is not going to work because I was in Cincinnati and people don't really, no offense to people who are listening from Cincinnati, but they don't invest like New Yorkers. Okay. Because
Okay.
much lower cost of living.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
so anyway, I thought this isn't going to work. So I thought I really do need to get myself online because I was planning to do that before the disaster happened. And I thought I got to do
Hmm.
this. I got to learn ads. So I plunked down 10K on for 3 different credit cards on top of the debt. 'Cause I always bet on myself. And that's the key. Note this, write this down. Always bet on yourself, no matter what situation you're in. Doesn't matter. I don't care how much debt you're in. You always bet on yourself. You double up.
Clue number three.
Yep. Double
Bet
up
on
no
yourself.
matter what, because you have to. If you don't, you're just nowhere. Okay. So I thought, there we have, got to double up again. And the more you do this, your risk tolerance goes up. And that's a good thing. Okay. So then I go do this program, wasn't great actually. And they were going to teach me ads. And I realized immediately ads are not going to work and it's going to be a real more debt. So I said to the people running it, I said, this is not going to work. And they said, oh no, ads aren't going to work for you. I said, okay, great. I just paid you 10K. What are we doing here? They said, you got to do
Wow.
organic. And I said, I didn't even know what organic marketing was. 'Cause that's how naive I was about online marketing. I said, organic. So is that like carrots? And they go, no, Jeanne, it's not like carrots. I said, what is it then? They said, you can get clients online with no ads. Okay, that made my head explode. I thought, this is it. I thought, that's it. That one sentence was it. That was the eureka moment. I thought, wait, I'm in. I'm going to be the best person because I knew that was my pathway. I can do this without the whole ads and funnels risk and like it's roulette wheel. 'Cause I don't like that kind of business where you're just rolling a. That's not business. That's a casino. So
Right.
I thought, how do I do this? Where are the trainings? They said, there's no trainings on that. I said, okay, how do I do this? You know what they said to me? Just go talk to people to get rid of me.
There you go.
There you go. And I thought, thank you. Got it. Now, take notes on this next one. Always make lemonade out of lemons. That's your mindset. Not complaining about the status quo. It's what is the status quo and just making the most of it no matter what. People don't think that way. I do. I'm like, great, got it. Gonna go make some lemonade here. Okay.
Okay.
Not,
Okay. 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 Okay.
yeah,
Okay. 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 That's huge.
that is
That's
huge.
huge
Yep.
because, I mean, we, you know, I think a lot of normal people, they'll come up with an idea, they'll get really excited about it, they're passionate about it, and then they get out there and boom, something happens and they hit a
And
lemon,
it's like, oh,
right?
oh, oh, I can't do that because I thought it was going to be smooth. Like
Yeah, yeah.
nothing else in life is.
There's the world is lemons, folks, right? And so what you're saying, Jean, is just unbelievably poignant in terms of don't be surprised by lemons. Know that the lemons are going to be there and know that when you hit one, you can turn it into lemonade. You just got to have that perspective, right?
Exactly. And you want to hear something hilarious?
Yeah.
Here's it. Lemon desserts are like my favorite type of dessert. We joke about it. I love, lemon buns. I love lemon bars, lemon everything. Me
And
and my daughter,
lemonade.
we both love, I don't love lemonade so much. I just love
Oh,
the
raspberry
lemon
lemonade then.
sweets. And we also love lemon on our salad. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Bring me the lemons. I'll have the
Yeah.
lemons. I love it
Yeah.
better than
Bring them
oranges.
on.
Yeah. So
I love
that
that.
is the mindset. It's not, oh, poor me. It's okay. That's the other, write this down. The other one. Accept what is. If you
Ooh.
can accept what
Ooh.
is in your life.
Ooh.
Now, that doesn't mean don't try to change what is to something else, but in the moment, something just is a reality. We can't disagree with that. There's right in the moment, there's our reality right now, the status quo. That doesn't mean we don't want to change it, because we do, but you have to accept what is going on this moment and not pretend it's something else or hope it's something else or complain. You have to say, okay, this
Or
is what I'm dealing
complain.
with in the moment. Yeah. The other thing is never complain, never explain. Now, unfortunately, I can be a complainer, but I've learned to curb that. I try to be more mindful. It's changed my life just being aware of the complaining. If you don't complain ever again, your life's automatically changed.
Yeah. Uh, my add-on to that is when it's okay to complain, but just don't blame. Don't
Right.
blame.
Well, but even the complaining part, even that is bringing your whole energy down
It
into a
is. You're
negative
right. You're
state.
right. You're
So
right.
I'm going to be
You're
further
right.
than you. Don't blame. Great. I love it. But what I'm saying is, you know who said never complain, never explain? A
Mm-mm.
famous actress called Betty Davis from the like 20s, 30s, and 40s. Remember her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, Betty Davis
absolutely.
eyes. And her thing was never complain, never explain. Meaning, stop
Wow.
justifying things to
Right,
everybody
right,
else,
right,
right?
right, right.
Never. You don't have to explain yourself. I don't explain myself ever because what I'm doing is fine. I'm not doing anything illegal or moral or unethical. So why do I need to explain anything, right? So I'm not going to over explain. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Take it or leave it. But like I don't feel people over explain to strangers and people, and you
Oh,
don't have to
totally.
justify, do what you're going to do just so it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical,
There you
right?
go.
If you're doing those things, yeah, you got some explaining to do, right? But if you're not, you're clear. You don't have to get permission from other people to do the right thing for you in your life. Okay. And the funny thing is, people would always try to like do that. And then they'd sort of stop themselves because they're like, well, we're dealing with Jeanne here. So better not like. So, but anyway, when I was told, go talk to people, I thought, okay, I will. And I'm going to be the best talker to people out there because I am going to figure out this organic marketing. I'm going to be the best. And that is exactly what I did. I had 900 conversations with people in 8 weeks. I learned so much about how to talk to people online, what they need. And I realized then, oh my goodness, a lot of these people are coaches and consultants, mainly coaches that point, and they are not getting business. They do not know what they're doing, and they're all pretending they're change makers. And it's the worst feeling in the world when you're faking to the world. And I just felt so much compassion. I thought, oh, because you know what? I had made money. It's not, and I am good at business. But these people had no idea. So I was sort of figuring out as I went. And I thought, these people really need me. So that was when I got my niche sorted. And when I got my niche sorted, it exploded. I started getting clients online with no ads. And they were like, "Well, how'd you do this?" Because it's an old lady. Because I was 54, that's considered old online, and so I'm 60 now. And they saw that I had no great website. I told people not to go to my website because it still said business and executive coaching on it, and I didn't even have time for a whole year to even change the wording. I was getting so many clients that nobody cared about my website. So another note: stop obsessing about your bloody website because it's just a calling card. And
Yeah,
then and
yeah.
then finally I said, okay, let's take a few minutes and just like I didn't have time to edit it. I said out of time. I'm too busy making money. So we started getting clients and it just became this flood of clients. And they said, we love this because it's so simple. And what I'm talented at is simplifying things. People want simple. They don't want complex. And I'm an idiot. So I got to make it simple and I got to make other people make it simple because simplicity works. Because
It totally works.
when something breaks and it's simple, you can fix it. When you've
And
got all these
simplicity
complex things going on, you
and
can't fix it.
simplicity is sustainable,
Eggs. That's what I'm trying to say.
right?
You have like funnels and automation, something breaks and so anyway, I figured this out 5 months before COVID started, providentially. If I had not figured this out, I would have been really, really in deep debt because you couldn't do the networking that I was doing. So at that point, it didn't hurt me. Actually, we helped way more people put food on the table. We helped a lot of people figure out what they could broker as knowledge. Like, because we don't just work with coaches, we work with people that are like, just, I want to be a coach. Great. What are you good at? Okay. Yeah, we could help you become this coach, get them out there high ticket immediately and be making money high ticket in a blink of an eye, like 2 weeks. Because the other thing is, you are ready. You are ready, worthy and ready right now because people are always wondering until they get the next 10 certifications because then they'll be worthy. So I work on that premise everybody is worthy and ready right now because we're never really ready, right? Just you're worthy and ready right now. Let's just go do this thing. So we've moved a lot of people past all of that needless, what I call built-in failure.
Yeah.
You're building in failure in their mindset. I'm just going to build in a year or two to fail because da da da. Why don't you just take away the failure? You're going to fail a little bit, but take away the built-in failure time, the padding they put in. Well, I know it's going to take me 3 years. People say, well, I know. First of all, they don't know. I know it's going to take me 3 years to be profitable with a business, a coaching business. And I'm sitting there and I say, well,
Those are the beliefs.
that's actually not true because here's, by the way, over 600 coaches now, 600 coaches and many, many, many hundreds and hundreds of client testimonials where they're saying, I wasn't a coach and I got my first client in the first week. And then the people, they sort of short circuit because they're so attached to their reality. So the other thing is you have to detach yourself from your erroneous assumptions about life. you
Okay.
know,
Okay. Okay. It's one thing to detach yourself from those erroneous assumptions. It's another thing to be able to identify those
right.
erroneous assumptions. How do you help people do that?
Well, the first thing is the great thing is when people say those things, then I can say, well, actually, that's not true. I don't want to argue. I always say, like, I don't want to argue with you, and I'm not arguing with you, but I have proof that's not true because there's this person, they go, okay. And then they're sort of short circuiting a bit. You can see that.
Oh,
So what
you
I'm
bet.
doing is I'm now changing their paradigm. I'm shifting it. And then they go, oh, and then they'll say it again. I'll repeat again. I'm not arguing with you, but I just can't let that go by because it's not a point of view. It's fact. It's not a point of view. It's not a belief. It's not me arguing about your idea. It's not accurate. And they go, oh. So when you can prove to people fact, accuracy, proof versus what you are saying that you are saying is truth, you're wrong. And I don't say that because I'm not obnoxious.
No, but
I'm trying to
they come to that conclusion themselves.
well,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to open their minds, but then they'll
Right.
still be a little attached to it. And I say to them, you have a choice. Everybody has a choice. Okay, you choose to, they say they want to make $1 million. Everybody wants to make $1 million or 500,000 or whatever. You want to make X, Y amount of Z of money. You want to be influencer. Okay, you say you want that. Your choice is to actually truly want that or not just lip service and to do whatever it takes. If it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical, those are the three. That's it. But beyond those three, you should be doing everything it takes, meaning hiring people to help you, coaching. So you either are going to choose that way and be actually in your truth, or you're going to be that person that just talks and talks and talks. Well, I want to be a coach, but you're never going to do anything about it really, and it's just keeping you in pain because it's not true. Okay, so you're better off. There's a third category. Give it up. If you're never going to do what it takes, let yourself off the hook. Nobody's judging you and have a nice life. But don't be in between. Nothing more painful than being in between something that's never going to happen because you are never going to apply yourself. So choose, pick a lane. Yes, I want it. Yes, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it. I'm not going to make excuses or say it's not going to work every time I talk with a coach or not do the work or not invest or not do anything, but pretend I want it and pretend I'm going to do what it takes when I'm just playing around the edges of the sandbox. Okay. Or I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not prepared and I'm never going to do that. Give it up and just
Let it
have a
go.
nice life. Let
Yeah.
it go.
Yeah.
But don't be in between. In between is a very painful area because it's never going to happen because you have one foot in and one foot out. You're either all in or you're all out. Or you're realizing as I'm saying this that you're not all in and you want to move into the category of being all in because nobody's saying you're destined, you can change. So that is so clear to me. You either want something and you are going to do whatever it takes and you're all in, or it's lip service.
What
That's
you're
it.
just saying about having one foot in and one foot out. Uh,
Mm.
I had a visual on that, and that
Uh-huh.
was you have one foot on the dock and one foot on the boat.
Right.
And if you
You're
choose,
stuck.
choose, or else you're going to find yourself
Well,
in
it's also
trouble.
dangerous because if the boat moves a bit, you're going to
Yeah,
fall into the water.
exactly, exactly. And the boat's going to move. You know, the boat's going to move at some
Mm,
point in time. But
right.
I wanted, I just want to spend a moment and talk about choose, choose. Because one of the things I have found is that our life is a product of the choices and decisions we've made so far,
For
and
sure.
the product of our life in the future is going to be the choices, the decisions that we make from now on.
Hmm.
Um, and um, and that choosing, it's so hard, right? But I love how you got to the end and you said, you know what? Choose to be in or choose to let it go, right?
You
Because
have a nice life.
it's
Nobody's judging you.
purgatory in the middle of it. Yeah.
Exactly. It is. No, that's the word I use is purgatory,
Yeah.
actually. You're in purgatory,
There you
and it's
go.
just this slow burn where the anxiety it causes of lack of clarity in your direction of your life, it's painful. You're better off saying, I think I wanted that, but actually, I'm realistically, am I prepared? Or would I rather just have a chill life and have a job and 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 not do all and not have these high aspirations? And it's all okay. There's no judgment.
Totally.
Not everybody is meant to be a business owner. That is for sure. They've studied this.
Hmm.
People, they just don't have the mindset. They need the paycheck. It's not criticism. It is a difference in human psychology and
Right.
preference. Okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But the worst thing is people thinking they want something and they know deep down they're never gonna. Well, let's face it. A business person knows you have to invest in a business. There is an actual budget. You have to invest in a business. A lot of people start a business and think they're going to build $1 million business and not invest at all. That is just a complete, I don't know, not knowing. I was going to say a worse word, but you know, you don't even know, you don't even know that a business is an asset and you need to invest to
Right.
create to
Right.
create money in a business like creating money in an investment. So when people say to me, "Oh, I want to get to $1 million," like, well, who's your coach? Oh, I don't need a coach. Okay, you do realize that every single $1 million coach had coaches getting them to the million. Did you understand that? Oh, I'm not going to invest anything. And I
Yeah.
literally say to them, you need to do basic business studies to understand all businesses need some investment. It's just a fact. But they're not even there yet. They're not even there to know what a business is. That worries me. But it doesn't worry me if people just start and they're doing whatever it takes and they're learning as they go. But to have this thing, I'm never going to invest. Really? That's very strange.
Yeah.
How are you going to build a business with no investment? None. Or maybe a business card. Oh,
Tough way to do it.
I invested in business cards. I'm like, okay, that's it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just saying, I'm saying this to help people, not to belittle them. That you want to really get a sense of what the rules of the game are to be able to play it well. Like if you want to play chess, you got to know the rules to play chess well. Business is exactly the same.
And not only that, you look at anybody who's let's just take out professional athletics. Do you think
Yeah.
that these guys don't have a coach, right?
They have coaches
Every
and they have
single,
trainers. I mean, let's look at the
yeah,
guy that wrote Relentless. That guy was, Michael Jordan's trainer. We all know that he would not have gotten to the level, and Kobe Bryant's as well, the same guy
absolutely. And
that wrote the
Tiger
book
Woods,
Relentless.
they
Yeah,
all have
yeah.
they
They,
have
they had
multiple
coaches and
coaches.
trainers. That was
Yeah,
actually the trainer that was probably more. We all know, and we all know that they wouldn't have gotten to that level without their coaches
right.
and trainers at
And
all.
we're not talking about becoming the Michael Jordan, but you know what? There's a whole bunch of levels of successes between where you are and where Michael Jordan
Exactly.
is. And
Yeah.
choose, but also, choice when you choose and make decisions, you're making decisions and choices, hopefully on facts and data, right?
Right.
And
But I mean, there is some, like, I'm not saying this before you do everything, because that's another problem of the ducks in a row.
analysis
That's an,
paralysis. Yep.
that's another problem. So my thing is get one duck in a row and shoot it. That's a saying that I made up. Because
Get one duck in a
and
row
just
and
shoot it
shoot it.
because
Okay.
that's another reason to procrastinate. So
Yeah,
there's a
there you go.
pendulum going on here. I'm saying if you feel like you want to be a coach, find somebody and just massive messy action,
There you
MMA.
go. There you go.
Massive. First, it is. massive messy action, throwing a bunch of mud at a bunch of walls, but get some help. And you're just out there and it's like you're mud wrestling. Okay. That's how it should feel. It shouldn't be, oh, this is so planned and this is going to happen. You cannot be that planned. And like, let's talk about scrappiness. No business ever was scrappy. The successful ones. Nobody's like, oh, I don't want to get my hair ruffled. You've got to not wait. Oh, I'm just going to plan for 2 years. Oh my goodness. If I had to plan something for 2 years, I'd forget what that was I wanted to do in the first place. Personally, you have to dig in when you have that. You do a little bit of, okay, is this going to be sustainable? I think so. Great. Do it. Because if you don't do it right away, you won't have that excitement. You can't keep that momentum
Oh,
up.
it just festers,
You ju-
festers and rots.
you're going to be like,
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah,
bored with this idea after a
totally.
while.
Yep.
Take action, and I call it getting the foot in the door. Just take one step, even if you don't know where that is. Get your foot in the door, and then you're going to open that door slowly because you're doing more to open the door. Does that make sense?
It
Instead of
makes,
waiting until the door
yeah.
is wide open, I'm just going to wait until that door that has gold trim is completely wide open before I walk through it. That's not life.
Yeah, no, here's what life is though. Life is getting a wedge in that door. And life
Exactly.
is pushing your way and getting your way and opening that door and just kind of
Exactly.
right? Well, on the other hand, on the other side, you got Rottweilers and pit bulls that are saying, "Stay out, stay out." I mean, you got to fight for it, and it's
Exactly.
fun. It's amazing. I love what you said about the messiness.
Mhm.
Embrace the messiness,
Yes,
right?
massive,
Don't be afraid of it.
messy. It's just as much messy action, massive, not just massive action, massive, messy. And then later on in your business, the action is less messy. It's
There
more
you
because
go.
you learn
It
stuff.
gets better.
But when you first start, you really just have to embrace that feeling of not being that civilized in a way because, you're not sleeping and you're like, oh, I don't feel so composed right now. That's the
That's
the
okay.
gritty, the messiness of it,
Yeah.
right?
So we have 5 minutes and we got to wrap up. And I want to
Mhm.
wrap up by I've never done this before. I've never done this before, Jean, but I want to promote what you're doing.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't allow promotions on Finding Better. But here's the thing. I think forward with the world that we're living in it with AI.
Mm.
And it is just changing our world so fast. And I've been in technology for 40 years. I retired and I just
Mm.
recently unretired as you and I talked about. But
Mm.
I've helped shepherd in 5 or 6 generations of new technology. And with each generation, we've gotten so smart, smarter and smarter and smarter. And I coined a phrase that says, we've gotten so smart, we've forgotten our heart.
Mm.
And I've believed over the last 10 years that we're going to go through a renaissance of heart. And
I
what's
agree.
right? What's ironic about this, and I thought there was an irony that I knew was coming. It's it's technology that's going to force it because
Yes.
now all of a sudden we got this intelligence, our intelligence in our brain, right? That is now being given to machines basically, and we
Mm-hmm.
all see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're going to discover the intelligence of our heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing and feeling it happening right now. And people ask me all the time, John, what do you see the future in terms of livelihoods and making money? And I tell them, you know, it's all going to be about our humanity.
Mm.
It's going to be about our connections with humans because with other people. And I tell them to think about it in those terms. And the other thing I tell them, and the reason why I'm saying this also, is because you use the word scrappiness,
Mm.
right? I see tech people all the time that are very talented people now who can't find jobs,
Mm-hmm.
who can't find jobs. I feel sorry for the poor kids who started in technology, getting degrees in technology 4 years
Yes.
ago, and now they're graduating and they can't find anything.
No, actually, somebody
And
said the exact same thing right now. They said all those tech people are hurting right now.
they are. And
Just
and
finished.
and the thing is
Yeah.
that as AI continues to march along, it's going to create change at speeds of which we've never experienced. And so
Mm.
I love and my promotion of what you do, Jean, is that you're right in the middle of it. you are right in the middle of
Hmm.
that human connection. You're right in the middle of helping people connect with other people.
Exactly.
And I think that your what you do is going to be very, very core to our future in terms of helping people.
John, I was just talking to somebody this morning about this, that we have never automated anything that's not just a task, that doesn't have to do with the client. We have kept coaching as much as our clients need human coaching.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
has kept me ahead of the curve because I believe we're going to go back to that. So we never cookie cut it and made it like, a McDonald's coaching company, because what is the point if it's just bots?
Right.
Sure, you can
Right.
have like
It's from your
you can have
heart.
some cool AI stuff that they answer questions when you're not
Sure.
coaching. But I truly do believe that human interaction will be at a premium.
And yeah. And
Right.
check your heart, right? I mean,
Exactly.
use your brain, feel your heart and check your
Great.
gut.
So
And
listen, we
and
have
this
one
is
minute left. I just thought I'd remind you.
yeah. So here's what
You want me to
okay,
tell
so
people
so
about, yeah.
close it. Close it
Okay.
and
So,
how do people who want to learn more about you and connect with you do that?
okay, if you go to my website, jeanneomlor.com, that's JeanneOmlor.com /reviews, you will see hundreds of client reviews. So basically, if somebody hates their job or has been fired, okay, and they are thinking, wow, maybe I could broker some of my knowledge, we help you do that on a dime. So we are getting a lot of very high achievers now in our programs that we're in companies, or if you're already a coach or a consultant, we basically help you learn how to get high ticket clients online with no ads. And also, we now have a podcast strategy because I have a podcast. So that's the deal.
Wonderful. And if I may just add this one last thing. You said in this episode that everybody listening has something of value they can offer.
That
So
is absolutely
you
true.
don't have to be a high powered type person. This is it's heart, folks. It's heart. It's all
Mm.
about heart. It's all about love. That's what it's all about. That's what this podcast. That's what we're all here for. So with that, Jean, thank you. Thank you for what a fun conversation this was. And there's folks that are going to take a lot out of this. Folks, share this. You know what? Share this with folks. You know people who are looking for things to do or who are going through transitions right now. Share this. And please subscribe. Okay? That'll help me a lot. With that, I love you. God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.